I want Good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, I want to warmly welcome you to our first online webinar organized by International Relation Division of Indonesia Student Association in Germany. And on our webinar's topic today is about Eurocentrism in international relation. And also, firstly, I want to thank you to all of you for your interest and for your time to attend our webinar.
Mhm.
First of all, I want to talk about the webinar ethic. The first one, kindly reserve your questions for the designated Q&A session. Utilize the platform's raise hand feature to indicate your intent to ask a question. Once acknowledged by the moderator, unmute your microphone to speak. The second one is maintain professionalism by using courteous language. Refrain from comments that could be interpreted as discriminatory or offensive. Ensure your microphone functions correctly to facilitate clear communication. Keep your microphone muted when not speaking to prevent background noise from disrupting the session. Actively participate by listening attentively, taking notes, and engaging in discussion or pause as prompted. And also, I want to tell you in advance that this webinar will be recorded and also be uploaded on Indonesia Student Association YouTube channel. And here, I want to let you to get to know more about our first speaker, Dr. Simant Shankar Bharti. And in this webinar, he will talk about Eurocentrism and perspective of the global South in international relation. Dr. Simant Shankar Bharti is an assistant professor at the School of Social Science, University of Economics and Human Science in Warsaw. He also conducts seminars for the Erasmus Exchange Program at the University of Warsaw Faculty of Political Science and International Studies. Dr. Bharti obtained his doctorate in political science and public administration, focusing on development diplomacy and soft power from the Faculty of Political Science and International Studies at the University of Warsaw. Dr. Bharti has a distinguished academic career with over 35 publications in peer-reviewed journals, book chapters, commentary, and media reviews. His primary research areas include the Global South and post-colonialism. Additionally, his research encompasses South Asian regionalism, European Union policies, the role of the European Union in global affairs, the geopolitics of the world order, and the evolving role of developing countries in international relations. And now we will get to know more about our second speaker, Dr. Suryadi. And in this webinar, he will talk about post-colonialism in Indonesia and its effect to our culture and foreign policy. Dr. Suryadi was born on February 15, 1965 in Padang Pariaman, West Sumatra. He is a distinguished Minangkabau scholar specializing in philology and Nusantara manuscripts. He earned his master's degree from Leiden University in 2002 and completed his doctoral there with a dissertation titled The Recording, Industry and Regional Culture in Indonesia, The Case of Minangkabau. Since 2001, Dr. Suryadi has been a lecturer at the Leiden University Institute for Area Studies, focusing on Indonesian and Malaysian literature and oral traditions, media culture in Indonesia, and Malay manuscripts. His extensive research has been published in various international journals, and he frequently presents at seminars worldwide. Notably, he leads a manuscript project funded by the British Library. In the Netherlands, Dr. Suryadi immerses himself in historical studies, exploring old manuscripts and classic books about the archipelago house in Leiden's library. His dedication to uncovering the past has significantly contributed to the understanding of Indonesia's rich cultural heritage. And before we jump into our main session, I want to show you about our agenda in today's webinar. So first of all, after this, we will hear the opening speech by Muhammad Nur Aroyan as the head of Indonesia Student Association in Germany. And then we will hear greetings from Pak Surya Octaviandra as the head of International Relations Division. And after that, we will hear the session by Dr. Simant Shankar Bharti about Eurocentrism and perspective of the Global South in international relations, also including Q&A session. And then we will have 5 minutes coffee break. And then we will hear the session by Dr. Suryadi about post-colonialism in Indonesia and its effect to our culture and foreign policy, also including Q&A session. And last but not least, before we end the webinar, we will have open discussion. And then now, before we start, I would like to ask you all to open your camera because we will have a group picture first. And Faithful will hand over the technical.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna take a picture. 3, 2, 1. Okay, all good.
Okay, and now we will hear the opening speech by Muhammad Nur Aroyan as the head of PPIJ or Indonesia Student Association in Germany. So Royan, time is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, Akbar. Hello to all the guest speakers, Uda Suryadi from Leiden and also Mr. Simant from Warsaw. It's our pleasure for you guys to come here to our session today. And I've read a little bit about your profiles, both of you. I think we also have a very interesting topic today, and it's very broad. If we really want to talk about the Eurocentrism in international relationships, and I personally study at University of Bonn in the Asian studies, and I think it also has a good cross section with the topic today. Um, yeah, I will. I'm hoping for a fruitful discussion from both of our speakers. From Mr. Simant, I think it's been your field of specialty for the last, I don't know how long you have been doing your academic careers, maybe 10 years or even longer. And for Mr. Suryadi, I think it's also important that we can have a look at, what our ancestors have written in the past. I think it's been your field of research for the last 40 years or 30 years. You've been in Leiden, or I don't know how long you've been there. I think you did your doctorate 10 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. And I would personally like to invite you also to come to Germany at some time in the future. We also have a good network of people doing philology research here in Cologne, where I live, and in Bonn as well. So yeah, I'm more than delighted to listen to the sessions today. And yeah, I would hand over back to Akbar because I don't want to waste the time here. Thank you very much for attending our first webinar session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Royan, for your warm opening speech to all of us and also to our speakers. And now I want to welcome Pak Surya Octaviandra also to give us small greetings. Please, Pak Surya.
Thank you, Akbar, for the time, and good afternoon for all of us, especially for our chief or Indonesian Student Association in Germany, Mr. Royan, and then to our honorable distinguished speakers, Dr. Simant Shankar from University of Warsaw, and then from my fellow hometown village, Dr. Suryadi from Universiteit of Leiden in the Netherlands. Thank you very much for your joining us today and providing your time for us so we can have this event. It is actually the first webinar we have this year, and everything is possible with the support of our team, especially from my international relation department. Thank you guys for making this event can be accessible for all of us. I hope that this webinar will be beneficial for all of us. So we can sharing knowledge and discussing everything that in this topic is Eurocentrism in international relation. So it will deepen our knowledge and also bring us something to think about after this event finish later. Thank you very much, and I hope we all enjoy this webinar. I send it back to Akbar. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Pak Surya Octaviandra, for your greetings. And now, before we jump into our main session, I would like to tell you that you could find a Google Form link in the comment section. It's for register the e-certificate that you can receive after this webinar. Yeah. And now, it's the time to have the main event of this webinar. So the first speaker is Dr. Simant Bharti. Time is yours, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Akbar, and for inviting me, especially the Indonesian Student Association Germany, and like all these members, like if I can name the Natalia, Royan, and Surya, and especially our other guest speaker, Dr. Suryadi, and welcome you all, and good afternoon. And I'm based in Warsaw, and now I'm seeing that most of we are from, I guess, from different background, or maybe some of your background is not international relations. Basically, I'm doing from last 8 years international relations, and last 1 year, I'm developing these current my research topic, and it will be my future research topic as well. So maybe it will be better, I guess, also if I can share my screen. So this presentation could be like more in more reachable for you, so you can also not get much, I guess, like confused about the topic, and it will be like more impactful like presentations for you as well. So our topic is the Eurocentrism in international relations, main theme. But if we see, the Eurocentrism is already a very multi-layer and diverse topic in international relations, not only international relations, but in other social science disciplines as well as. So basically, mostly I will talk about more literary and the post-colonial perspective. Nowadays, we also called the global south. Like this is a more preferable terms in international relations. So I will be within this domain. And let's try to understand the first, what is the Eurocentrism is. So mainly this term has been developed by the Samir Amin in 1988. And like Eurocentrism, they basically talks about like narrative belief system, and like posting of the Europe as a center of shaping the world history, promoting universal values, and the representing progress and development. And if we see the some more background, like stories of progress and superiority to defend the hegemony of non-European culture are connected to the root of colonialism to justify the violence. And if we see that such terms, the Eurocentrism, like mainly this is a call for like Western European countries who had the like huge colonies in Africa, Asia, and Latin American countries, and they like how evolved and we become industrialized countries, and after that they also laid the foundation of the European Union, and how European Union is also like presented as one of the most uniformed and successful regional integration in the world, and other hand the even we have the Southeast Asian regional corporation, but still that is not like that much vibrant in many terms, but we will talk more about later. So in the we will see the how this root of the colonialism, to justify the violence, and later how the democracy, rule of law, are like being imposed to the other nations in the world. And if you know the America and the European Union, they have democracy program, promotion program, even the election observation mission across the world. So in the Eurocentric narratives, the superiority of Europe is evident in the achievements in economic and the political systems and technologies, and especially now we are living in the time of AI, and where generative AI and machine learnings are the key, which is mostly the handle and recently challenged by the China, as well as like since they launched the DeepSeek. So now there is a more like diversification, but we will take more example later. So the high quality of life, the enjoyed society, it's the European, and which is we call Eurocentric. But there is also like again, the why I told initially this is a multi-layer, because it's not only the Eurocentric, but we can call it Western centric, because there is the man leading guardian like United States America. And if you see the like how the international relations, all these theories, like who coined, basically Woodrow Wilson, the American like president, is the coined the international relations, and the many initial theories. If you see the theories of realism, liberalism, and Marxism, which is like totally 100%, which is called also mainstream theory, which is also like Eurocentric. But here we have to see from the different lens to like decolonize the international relations. The colonial differences continues to divide and drive the West versus non-West, and now which is called also the global South narratives in international relations. But before going to like more understand the Eurocentrism from the post-colonial perspective, we have to understand discourse. And discourse is originally derived from the literary studies. And if we see discourse, like we can understand the Eurocentrism better through the discourse studies. And the discourse theory talks about discourse like production, power production, and knowledge production. But here is a question: who has this capacity to the like discourse, power, and knowledge production? So, and again, you can see like dominance in all the academic discipline, and who is controlling all these discipline. So here we have the Paul Michel Foucault, 1926 to 1984, defined the discourse as a collection or group of true statements that do not exist but are simply created through discourse. These statements can be written or spoken and contribute to the constructing knowledge and discourses that shape the society's structure. Here I can give you the example. If like America will tell Taliban is a terrorist organization, like entire world, they will accept this fact. But currently Taliban is in the power, so no one government is going to recognize due to, because that is not democratically they control the Afghani society. So these are the like one of the example part of the narratives, like how you have the definition power, so you can define the world and the world situation. So they like how this discourse studies evolved, which is evolved from the archaeology of knowledge, the book by the Foucault in 1970. And the Foucault talks about control of discourse, like who is controlling this discourse and narratives, and the suggesting the element of power in language that is used for the communication and for constructing the truth statements. Maybe some narrative is not true, but when you are publishing through your think tank organization, your scholars from your country, when they are publishing the series of volumes, as you know, it's become narrative as a truth, and people started believing that is the fact which is in the society. So we will understand now. We have slightly moved towards the post-colonial perspective, how discourse moved and that derived in the like post-colonial studies. Then we have to understand from the Oriental perspective, like how Orientalism emerged here. So Eurocentrism is the condition of possibility for Orientalism, the discursive, means discourse analysis, and the institutional greed of power and knowledge integral to the production and domination of the Orient, and Orient as defined as a other or othering. Yes. So Edward said, and who wrote the Orientalism, a book, and in this book, Edward Said considered the first scholar who extensively used the Foucault discourse theory in his Orientalism, and Said examined the interplay of discourse power and knowledge production through the various forms of writing, and including research, travel accounts, and other literary works in his study of the Middle East region, and historically referred as Orient, and in the context of Orientalism. So he defined the how Napoleon has the ambitious, colonization, and how they attack on the Egypt, and they brought not only the military forces, but also brought an army of geographers, sociologists, and writers. And the said argued that this knowledge was the part of a broader colonial and imperialist project, and in which Egypt was not only conquered but also turned into an object of a study. So basically, the Napoleon wanted to build his good image back in France. So in future they could be, the rule longer in the France to be a emperor there. So basically they his like entire team, and they presented like patriarchy, like uncivilized people, especially the Middle East people, especially the Egyptian people. So that's how Edward said the Orientalism become part of the post-colonial literary studies. And the post-colonial discourse on Eurocentrism, now I will give you a bit more background. The production of knowledge in the context of reinforced colonial domination as the scholarly work help to legitimize and sustain the imperial control, because if they will not talk that colonial people are like uncivilized people, or like they are not mannered full people, and they have the patriarchy, even their women are not free to roam in the public. So these are like concept the derived in the post-colonial studies. So Europeans are positioned as a superior, and while the colonized people, indigenous people, and their lands are portrayed as inferior, and often depicted as a being out of sync with the modernity, and relegated to the prehistorical or primitive stage of human development. That's what the image had been like drawn in the Western society, especially in colonial time, and mostly the image of colonies presented negatively in this discourse, and these often racist and romanticized stereotypes, and create a worldview that justify the Western colonialism and imperialism across the world. So Orientalism as an important component of the post-colonial responses for the Eurocentrism. So then now our understanding is now more clear about the how Eurocentrism evolved, not only in international relations, but from literary studies to other social science studies, and later crafted by the Oriental studies across the Europe as well. So now we will come to our topic, especially we will be talking about in international relations. So here we have the anthropocentrism of the international relations. So basically, these all discourses, they also brought like an idea of like how this is a discriminative, not only based on the like knowledge production, but in the all the forms like even racism. So even racial like racial point of view. So the significant critics of Eurocentrism emerged in the context of post-World War Second shift in the geopolitical power, including anti-colonial and anti-imperial revolutionary movements. And in the Eurocentric views, the Europe is the engineer and the architect of modern agriculture, cultural and economic, political, scientific innovations, including capitalism and democracy and industrial, medical and green revolutions. So here, like we can't deny, the like these things like has been evolved and developed in the like Europe. But here is that we have to understand the basic differentiations like controls over the narrative and the power, and all the IR theories is for the for the security point of view, to protect their interest. But in that interest, in all this discipline, when you are studying, so we used to forget like our interest of the global south, like African interest, Asian interest, and Latin American interest. So that's why this is a discriminative. And the concepts like the rise of Europe, the European miracle, exemplify the Eurocentric model of history and development. And Europe's so-called rise is explained in the term of superior social and the environmental qualities and deemed internal to it. So yeah, the inventiveness and the rationality, capacity for the abstract thought, and the outward looking and freedom loving along the advantageous climate and geographies. Even in the after like the Second World War, and they have like brought an idea of like Marshall Plan, and Marshall Plan was the development plan for the Western European countries. And but what about the like reconstruction of the like colonial post-colonial countries? They had no such a developmental plan. Yes, and if they had the some plan, and that was related to mostly like if we understand from the dependency theory, like core and periphery, like how the core means Western, means Eurocentric countries, they exploited in the terms of raw and materials to the peripheral countries. Yes, so even the modernization theories they brought by the Western, and that is also Eurocentric theory. And that theory also told that once these like post-colonial countries will come into the interact with the Western one, means European Western European countries, so they will be automatically become also the developed one. But it's never happened. So we have the all rest of the history. So now we have to come to the global south, like how this will resolve the ethnocentrism in the international relations. As you know, the after the like Second World War, the world has been divided into two parts, and the one is the capitalist bloc, yes, and which is called the Western bloc, and the other one is the Soviet bloc. So in the meanwhile, the countries like India, Indonesia, Egypt, Egypt, and the Turkey and the Serbia, they brought an idea of, in the Bandung conference in 1955. Now it's going to mark the 70 years of the Bandung conference, like how they brought the initial, the birth of the global south, and the non-aligned movement was the name. And now, which is I will come to the later how non-aligned movement 2.0 also emerged after the war in Ukraine. So that is a birth, Bandung conference was the birth of the global south perspective, and they also enhance the post-colonial studies in international relations. So the non-Western perspectives into the IR addresses the geographical issues focusing on the European affairs. But this is not again solving entire discourse, and even the theoretical in academic discipline, which is a Eurocentric, and the mostly the we are seeing the world and every like especially in social science and literary from the Eurocentric point of view. So the 2018 identified 3 addressing issues of Eurocentrism. Like first one is the Eurocentrism as a system of knowledge. I also explained you through the Michel Foucault and the Edward Said's theory. Addressing Eurocentrism in international relations necessitates the questioning to the epistemic primacy of Europe, and the second, the reproducing the spatio-temporal hierarchies, and which is that in the like how in 1980 Willy Brandt and divide his based on GDP divide the global north, I mean northern hemisphere, which is called the Western world, and which is like rational, modern, developed, but other hand, the global south and which is called non-West, or which is the spiritual, traditional, and underdeveloped. And the logic of the progressive narrative of history works to reproduce these spatio-temporal hierarchies by the separating Europe and analyzing development, and which is mostly promoted as a superior in the terms of democracy, sovereignty, human rights. Human rights. So if you see the European Union principle, and this is the principle of the European Union as well as the one of the most uniform regional organization in the world, like democracy, sovereignty, and human rights. So like here we have to search the like how we can bridge this gap. So we have to search for the connections and the construction of differences. So the Eurocentric influence within IR theories, I explained you like how the mainstream IR theories is talking about the security and the interest of the Western European countries. But if we see the modern international relations and the international order, and all the modern statehood system is derived from the Westphalian legacy, yes, and 1648. So like Robert Cox here, the claim that the theory is always for someone and some purpose. So means they are talking about all these international relations theory to protect the Eurocentric values, means Western values, and all other worlds are kind of enemy to them. And we will come later the West versus rest discourse, how this emerged after the war in Ukraine. So IR theory is the predominantly the Eurocentric and Western-centric, or enduringly so, despite a powerful China and resurgent Russia and emerging powers like India, Indonesia, South Africa, Brazil, and Mexico. So the Eurocentric narrative has proved highly useful and adaptive for its proponents and their objective in the pre- and post-colonial world. And yeah, we can accept here like these same IR, they have given a space to the critical theories and post-colonial perspective in international relations, but still this is not enough. Like contemporary European politics and the Eurocentric Western-centric narratives itself remains secure in its like pervasiveness and the adaptiveness in the post-colonialism and international politics and IR theory, and still like here we have to do lots of things to do. And if you know the International Studies Association, yeah, which is a like all these theories in international relation, all the perspective is corrupted, and most of the IR core journal is run by this consortium, and which is a US based consortium. And still in the in journal of like ISA journal, means International Studies Association journal, the only 12% article being published by the global south people, global south scholars, and most of article is and they used to reject in the name of like you have to do proofread from the native English speaker, and how they impose native English speaker as a tools to like stop the knowledge. And if if there is a Western European countries and they have different language in the Europe, even in Central Eastern Europe now become the part of the European Union, and like if people they are writing from this part of the world, they don't have such similar treatment. But if some people are writing from Africa, Asia, and Latin America, then you have to in the name of the poor English, they will deny your article publishing in the big journal. So that is how, like, it's not Eurocentric is like system, international order, all the world institutions in academic discipline, but also in academia. Publishing is also the control, and that is a Eurocentric as well. So we will now come to the our final part, the global South perspective. And still there are so many scholars, and especially who is studying also in Western European countries, and like me, and also they are trying to challenge and this hegemony, and the counter the European centric perspective. So if we see the global South perspective, the Eurocentric IR theories has been the epistemological challenges within IR and the need for a broader set of approaches within the field. Like, for example, the echoing the Martin Waits, the challenge, the why is there no international relation, international theory, like Amitabh Acharya, which is a corrupted non-Western IR theory, and the very Bujan have questioned why is there no non-Western international relation theories. They argued that due to IR's origin in the West, and the means in the West, and the continuing the dominance of the Anglo-American scholarship in the field of Eurocentrism is the inevitable and the deeply embedded. So the proposal for a global IR, international relations, or post-Western international relations, include the incorporation of scholars and theories, knowledge from the geographically and culturally more diverse like foundations, including disparate the religious and intellectual tradition, which is told by like Amitabh Acharya mainly corrupted, and the Berry Bujans and this non-Western IR, and which is one of the emerging area in international relations. But still, there is a challenge we have. But if we see all these Eurocentric narrative is still there, if we are seeing that now the non-Western IR theories is adopted in European, especially the Western institution as well, it means our goal has been achieved. Not yet, but if we see the war in Ukraine in February 2022, and they gave again the West versus Rest narrative in international relations, and which is like kind of re-emergence of the Eurocentrism, or you can say the Eurocentrism 2.0 or 3.0 maybe, and the Voices of Global South name 2.0 also emerged, and the lots of writings are available in international relation and different discipline as well. So like on the social media like X handle and other Facebook and other handle, like they started the like, are you with the in Ukraine side, means that you are in the side of the West. If you are opposing war in Ukraine, means you are the rest, and there is no middle. Yes, and they are not accepting this narrative West versus rest, the middle approach. So basically, if you are not with the Western, means Eurocentric point view, means you are the rest, and rest means the people is like, especially which is not caring, means countries especially which is not caring about international order, and they believe in authoritarianism. So this kind of narrative were in international relations, and especially on social media, also in after the rise of new media. Though there has been a lot of criticism of India for the importing Russian crude oil as India's moral ambiguity, the Indian like Foreign Minister S. Shankar has been, pushing back quite aggressively and saying that it was essential for the Indo-Pacific strategy to discard a Eurocentric perspective. So there was unfolding now, while regional have global repercussions and feeding into mistrust and misunderstanding and West versus rest narratives across the world. And still, and there are, if you just Google, there are lots of writings about the this like discourse on the West versus rest discourse, and how they are still not accepting the extent of non-Western world. in international relations. So this is all from my side, and thank you so much. And I would like to more discuss if you have like questions. So and my email ID is also on your screen, so you can also write me after like this webinar, and you can also in touch with me if you have some of your area related to this, and if you are writing maybe master dissertation and something, so I would be happy to guide you. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Simant, for your session. And also, thank you so much for talking about the discourse theory. It's also important for us to understand Eurocentrism better. And also, at the end, you also talk about the Global South perspective. And it's also interesting for me. And now it's open question for all of you, because now we are entering the Q&A session. So anyone, feel free to speak, feel free to ask, but please raise the hand firstly. Thank you. But otherwise, if there is no questions, okay, please, Anissa.
Yes, Anissa.
First of all, thank you so much, Mr. Bharti, for your insight. It's really really cool, and I already passed the exam and I remember it again about this topic. Yeah, as you can see, during your course, I did always criticize a lot, and I do always have like a lot of questions. And at this segment, I would like to uh, deep my understanding more to the future of the global south. So as we already discussed it before in the lecture, um, global south, they already established some organization after World War II, after NAM movement. We have G20, we have G77, and in the current time we already established BRICS. So it looks like we have a lot of this multilateral cooperation between another country. But the thing is, how can you see the future of the global south? Because I've seen here this cooperation is not so effective. For example, in terms of the war of Ukraine, only 60% of correct me if I'm wrong, only 60% of the global south country agree in order to support Ukraine. But the other country, they are just choose to be abstain. Meanwhile, on the other hand, we did realize that um, the global south country, a lot of country here is still facing a lot of poverty, homeless people, the impact of climate change. So how you can see the future cooperation within the global south country? Because we're still depending on a Western country. Thank you.
Uh, Thank you so much, Anissa, for your like very interesting question and insightful question. Like like there is a two part of your questions. Like if I would answer, the first part is we are talking about if we are studying, seeing from the post-colonial and global south perspective. Now we call it global south perspective. So if we see from the global south perspective, so we are talking mostly here in the mainly the academic discipline. In academic discipline there is also hegemony, which I also talked about just few moment ago. So but if we see the like country perspective, like the like IR perspective, which is like a practical IR. So if we see our region, especially from the Asia, Africa, and Latin America, there are many countries which is the least developed countries. More than 46 countries are under least developed countries list of the World Bank. Yes. So still they don't have much of the option. Even the South Corporation has been emerged in the past years and still emerging a lot. So but still that fund is not enough to protect them, protect their economy and the country's GDP. So these countries are somehow dependent on the Western aid. And now the Trump is in the power, and they give executive order to the like assess the US aid, means United States American aid, for these countries, especially developing countries. So now it will be difficult time for them. So as now in this time, I'm seeing global South future is more bright, because due to Trump, and Trump policy is not going to help much the global South countries. And here is the only countries, the emerging powers, and they will be the backbone for the global South countries, especially if we take here example of the Sri Lanka. And recently, the 2 years back, just Sri Lankan economy fall, and after that, the only the two major countries they helped, and which was the India, which is a neighborhood country, and the China. China gave, I guess, 4 billion US dollar, and the India 2 billion US dollar. So and still they needed 12 billion US dollar to to like bring back on economy on the track. So if we see the contribution, the major contribution come from the global South emerging powers. And even China, recently there was leadership summit, G20 leadership summit in Rio, and the Chinese president she also mentioned that like China has been always considered themselves as a part of global South, and their all the development plan, everything is for the in the favor of global South. And if you see the China's activities in the Africa and Asia, especially in African countries, so like West is giving. I have also seen the meme on social media, like if China is doing some activities and development activities, infrastructure development activities in Africa. So West is telling that, see, the China is coming to take your loan. Then African people is replying that, see, still West is giving lecture to us. So like if you will not, again the West is telling again, if you will not repay the loan, means they will take your land, and you will be again colonized. So then again the African man is replying that and still West is giving lecture, means no any support, basically they are talking about. So that's why if we see from the different also in the, because we have to also care social media, because which is one of the major contributor in the perspective in these days, like how social media helped West versus Rest narrative in the, and divide the world into two part. So the global South, if you see the global South emerging power perspective, and their voices are becoming more stronger than ever. So that's why one of the Trump is also bit like critical towards the especially BRICS countries, and especially all these like developing countries, and they are not going to give any relaxation, and they are trying to again impose the in the name of tariff if they will not listen to the West. So this is a, if you decode the Trump speech, and which is a like kind of the global South is giving challenge to them, and they are trying to control in the through the tariff imposition and other immigration diplomacy. And if you just observe, you will have lots of answer as well. So thank you. I hope my answer is useful for you.
So Anissa, maybe any further question or following questions, or the answer is already clear for you?
Yeah, it's already clear. Thank you so much for the explanation.
Perfect. So any further questions for everyone? Yeah, okay. Pak Surya.
Okay, thank you, Akbar, for providing me the time. It's a very interesting lecture that you have given to us, Mr. Dr. Simant. I would like to ask about your opinion about this Eurocentrism. Do you think it's still relevant nowadays? Because yeah, we can agree that in the past that the Europe is exploring. The Europe explore the rest of the world. The Europe also conquer many countries, and also still has their influence nowadays. But at this time, maybe in another perspective, that I think the USA and the China, so Russia as well, they have their own influence. So is this still relevant according to you, that this Eurocentrism in our world? That is the first question. And the second one, I think one interesting update in BRICS, that Indonesia also comes to join the BRICS. So with so many developing countries, China, India, Indonesia, and only Russia left as the Europe nations. Do you think that BRICS can BRICS can be relevant to another power from the West in the future? Thank you.
Thank you, Surya, for your question. And the first question, Eurocentrism is I told you, this is a multi-layer approach, and this layer you can fit everywhere, like even like global South perspective, post-colonial perspective, any perspective. And even if you see the narrative from the West versus rest in the war, mid of the war in Ukraine, so this perspective is so much relevant, and even is going to be more broader, especially the nowadays, if you are seeing, there is a rise of populism in across the Europe, and also in the United States, which is considered also conservative, one of the conservative government, and in the Western institution. And if you see the last year election in the European Commission and European Parliament, in the European Parliament, the first time the right wing and far right wing, they got the majority in the European Parliament. So now this is a more challenging time for the time for the world, and this theory is they will more criticize to help the shift the broader perspective in international relations to pursue the interest of the global South countries. So that's why this is a very important time for this approach, the Eurocentrism, because now they are talking about tariff, and that is a kind of challenging the American, or you can say the Western. And because why we are talking Eurocentrism, because European Union, their policy is the first they will give you aid money, then country will strengthen, then they will sign the free trade agreement if the country will be the advance, like India and the European Union, they have the free trade agreement dialogue from the last 10 years. Yeah, and still they are doing the dialogue, and only the data transfer and data protection is the challenge here in the signing this treaty, free trade agreement with the India and the European Union. So like this is a pure neoliberalism, yes, and there will be relevance will be always there. So Eurocentrism this is a time for main time for the Eurocentrism. And your second question is the like BRICS, yes, and the BRICS membership is increasing, and Indonesia joined, and Thailand joined, and the many country like Egypt, Iran has been joined, and many will be more joined. So, but if we see the BRICS, like especially BRICS Development Bank, and who is the major contributor in this BRICS bank, is the China. And China is there, I guess, more than 60% their contribution in the BRICS Development Bank. And if some countries is joining, so they could have the benefit of the that they can take loan from the BRICS Development Bank, so they can do. But again, this is giving challenge to the Eurocentric hegemony or Western hegemony. So that's why the Trump is also critical towards the BRICS especially. Yeah, thank you.
So there maybe any further questions regarding the
I guess
questions,
Professor
or
Suryadi also raised the hand for the questions, I guess.
Yeah. If I have time, Mas Akbar, still have time?
you still have time, sir?
Okay.
It will be the last
Okay, yeah,
question.
very interesting lecture, Professor Bharti. Just a small question. We know that one of the, how to say it, expression of European power in post-colonial era is the what is called the Commonwealth, right? Especially the world, the rest of the world that's ever conquered by or colonized by British. I think India is one of them, right? And
Yeah,
Malaysia and so on. What do you think about this? It is still necessary here. What academically or publicly? What is like Indians people perspective about it? Indian scholars perspective about this
uh,
Commonwealth? Yeah.
like
Thank you.
currently, if we see the Commonwealth is also declining after the Brexit and Britain exit from the European Union. After that, West involved in the war in Ukraine and their funding, and internally the British economy, United Kingdom economy is the suffering a lot. So due to there is again the relevancy in the terms of culture only, historical only. And if we see in India, especially, we have the Hindu Mediterranean government, and which is they have decolonized approach in India. They also built a new parliament building, and they changed many British name and museum in India. So there is already India is trying to and also change the British Anglo-Indian law, and which is the most of law derived from the British colonial time. So they also rename and change the law in the last year by this Mediterranean government in India. So if you see the current perspective of India, India is trying to going more further to the British hegemony. And especially if we see the Indian GDP is the now fifth GDP, top GDP, and which is already surpassed the British GDP. So India is going more further, and the current Indian leadership is just seeing India as a one of the key actor in international relations, and in Indian Prime Minister also try to do the peace effort, and they visited several times, two times I guess, in Moscow, and one time in the Kiev as well. So they becoming going far from this the Commonwealth and the colonial legacy to in the leadership position in international relations, due to America needs India to counter China in Indo-Pacific region. Yes, so that's why Indian leadership is the emerging more than that in the current scenario. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Simant, for the session and also for the answers. Now after this, and also for everyone who still has some questions, maybe you can hold it first, and then because at the end we will still have open discussion at the end, and also Dr. Simant or Suryadi could also answer your questions at the end of the session. And now we will have 5 minutes of coffee break, and I will hand over to, and then we will show the timer 5 minutes to make it sure if we are on time. Thank you so much. See you later.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Okay, the cover break is over. I hope that the time was enough for you to take some breaks, also to the toilet, also coffee and tea. And now I want to welcome Dr. Suryadi to share his insights about the post-colonialism. Please, Dr. Suryadi, time is yours.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Akbar, and all student fellow here, and also to Ms. Dr. Bharti. I'm sorry not to provide any PowerPoint because uh, on Monday the new semester will begin in in Leiden. So during this week, I was very busy with providing 4 courses for next semester. But I think everything almost already discussed by Dr. Bharti. I think it is better if I give I I'm narrowing the our discussion to Southeast Asia, especially Indonesia and the Malay world, giving some example about how the topic we discussed today, we are discussing today about the European centralisms in everything. Yeah. And I hope this also give a brief example or added knowledge for Mr. Bharti about what we are doing in Southeast Asia. I think everybody already know that we can't, I think, reject that the Europe, especially the Netherlands, have contributed significantly in building the many things in Indonesia, especially deals with knowledge, education, and modernisms. When the Dutch arrived in our country, in the Nusantara, in the archipelago, in 1596, within more or less 100 years after that, the Dutch scholars, travelers, many others, including the missionaries, produced many writings about culture, people, nature, whatever about the archipelago. This is become the huge the collection of library in Netherlands now. If you go to Leiden University Library, for example, we have more than 10 kilometers collection about Indonesia, about the Malay world. Imagine, yeah. And every year we still have the Leiden University have office, a branch office in Jakarta, which sends 1,000 books, 100 books every month to Netherlands. So what they done 100 years ago still continuing until now. KTF Jakarta scan or collect the PDF or newspaper, collect the recording, whatever, regional and national musics, make film about the daily life in small cities, for example. They have much money to do that. Yeah. So we can neglect. Yeah, how to neglect the Dutch contribution in developing the body of knowledge about about the archipelago. This actually, if we speak more general, it is also happens in the other part of the south that ever colonized by European countries. In India, for example, we have a long time the British scholars published the journal of uh, 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 journal of South Asian studies. Yeah, for example, in Malaysia, in Malay the British published Journal of Malaysian Branch of Asiatic Societies, for example. So for those who want to make good research about the archipelago's history, yeah, they should go to the Netherlands, for example, to Leiden. Yeah, but we see now what happens since independence of Indonesia, Malaysia, and other countries in Southeast Asia. As far as I investigated and I saw from Leiden, and I wrote an essay about this, which I sent its link, but in Bahasa Indonesia. So sorry for that. Yeah, to Mr. Surya about how to compete the Western education intellectual imperialisms. Yeah. If we see now in Southeast Asia, the discourse about this already happened since, I think, since the past 50 years. Yeah, maybe everybody now like Professor Naguib Al-Atas in Malaysia, and now continued by his son Farid Al-Atas in Singapore, by Farish Noor and other people. Their idea is to develop what is they call the Islamization of knowledge. Yeah, but in my opinion, the action is not it's not maximal yet. Yeah, and it is difficult to follow by other scholar in Indonesia or in Brunei. Yeah, so one expression, one action to compete this domination of European imperialism, I thought like that, in the field of science, especially humanities and social science, is the Islamization of knowledge. Yeah, promoted by like Alatas and some others. Yeah. The second one, the study of Occidentalism. It is also appeared in Malaysia, but as we see, this not support by other scholars. Yeah, not support by many scholars. Yeah, so this is the expression. Some expression deals with the how the people, the scholars, the academic communities in the region try to compete this domination of European imperialism in the field of science. Yeah. Another that we can see now, that in my opinion is also connect to this 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 action to compete this European imperialism in knowledge is the repatriation of many. Mr. Bharti already discussed also many museum collection in Europe, especially in Netherlands. I think the student here also follow this phenomenon, right? Last year, more than 400 items of collection returned to Jakarta, and it will follow by next step next year. Last week, I discussed with the Ministry of Culture, Fadli Zon, to follow many items that were robbed by the Dutch during colonial time, including some material from Lombok, from Banjarmasin Palace, and other regions. So this, I don't know, in the case of India, is there also the London returns back many materials, museums collection, this with India back to New Delhi. But this is global phenomenon now, because Germany and also France returns send back many museum collection that they collected from African countries during colonial time. Another case I'm seeing now in Southeast Asia. Sorry, I take my battery low. I take the charge first. Yeah. Okay, I continue. There is also a phenomenon in Malaysia. I see they action to change the name many of things, like street, like place, like building, which had which shows the colonial legacy, colonial name into the Malay name. Yeah. Like they, for example, some places in Kuala Lumpur, in Penang, yeah, they changed the name to with the name in Malay language, like Butterworth, like Port Klang, like others. Yeah. So yeah, there are many actions to show that people in Southeast Asia try to reject the colonial legacy. We also see now, I think, students who studying about history now, we also see in many publication about the history of the archipelago, history, Malaysian history. They criticize, they try to find or to make balance between the Western sources, first-hand sources, and the local sources. Yeah, but in my opinion, this kind of action still sporadic. Yeah, what can we do more comprehensively to to compete this hegemony, this Western hegemony? Do we, for example, the problem of us as global community is we are not united, different from Europe. Yeah, we like, for example, now Chinese and India try to compete each other. We are not united, and we also have no tradition to study something outside of our world. Do we have now, until now, after almost 100 years independence from European colonization? For example, the Asian Journal of European Studies, for example, Indonesian Journal of European Studies. We don't have it yet. So we still fight. How's it? Sporadic, not unite each other. Yeah. Dr. Bharti already mentioned how just 12% of Global South publication in International Journal. Even we try to also we try to establish some journals with Q Scopus index, but we saw many authors there, also the Western figures, like journal. I think the student from Indonesia now that like in humanities field now, for example, journal Wacana in UI, it is very good, yeah, journal. But I saw the authors there, the contributors are mostly from Europe. Yeah. So I think this is our problem in comparing this North or Western power in the field of knowledge. Yeah. Yeah. So in my article, I think Masuria already read it. I suggest I give some suggestion. For example, I think the scholars in Asia should be also unite. Should the promotion of many scholarship for among the ASEAN students. Yeah, not always like now we have to go to Europe to study, but like China, for example, they have much money now, but does the country interest in providing many scholarship for young people from some ASEAN countries, for example? So this is only my suggestion that can be discussed further, because in my opinion, as far as we are not united as Global South, it's difficult to compete this European domination. If we still fight, how to say, sporadic like this, it is difficult, I think, to compete this domination. Maybe better we discuss each other, including further into the, for example, the language, because for example now we use the as one of the African, I forgot the name, scholars mentioned, one way of West to to defend their power in the rest country is the expanding, the using of the language of the colonizer in the former colonized country. Yeah, we are in Indonesia, Mr. Bharti, are lucky because we reject the Dutch. Yeah, we reject Bahasa Belanda. We have Indonesian language. So But in India, for example, yeah, I know Indian people, English is very important there. But in another side, it is considered as something that disadvantage for us. But we in Indonesia is proud with our language, our Indonesian language. Even I think that's why in many in some critical situation like in 19 after independence or the last one during the 1965 coup d'etat, we still unite thanks to our national language, Bahasa Indonesia, the language that came from minority but used by majority of the country. We didn't choose the Japanese, Mr. Bharti. Even the Japanese are more than 80% of Indonesian people. But we choose Malay, the minority language, but become the lingua franca in the country. Thanks to that, to our founding fathers to choose that. So now even we sometimes quarrel each other in Papua, in Aceh, we still unite because thanks to our own language, not the language of colonizer. I think maybe we can discuss further about this, yeah, about other things just with this. I finished this my lecture and then give back time to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Suryadi, for your insights. And now we are entering the Q&A session. Anyone maybe has questions? Maybe I can start because I still have, actually I have question because it's interesting for me, Pak Suryadi. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm a layperson actually about the historical about Indonesia, also about post-colonialism, because like it's not my major. But then I just want to ask, you just mentioned in your session that of course we are proud about our language, Indonesian, and it's our main language as well in Indonesia. We didn't choose Javanese and so on. Yeah, Javanese and so on. But then my question would be, then why why I know it's really good that we are proud in our language, but then after 350 years of colonialism, why didn't we choose the middle way that, for example, Dutch as the second language, or for example, why didn't we agree with Netherlands, for example, for benefits of politics, for example? So for example, like if we go to Netherlands, we don't need extra visa, and also for example, for Indonesian scholars, we don't also need like, so like we get a bit benefits of the after 350 of colonialism. Maybe there are some reasons or some things that we as laypersons didn't know about it, Pak Suryadi. Thank you.
Important question from Mas Akbar. Yeah, I think if you choose something, you have benefit in some point and lose something in another points. Yeah, comparing with India, Mr. Bharti, yeah. In Indonesia, we choose Malay and then become Indonesian as national language. But yeah, we lose actually, especially deals with knowledge. Actually, we lose many things. I now, after 27 years in Leiden, the problem of many students who from Indonesia who come here is they come read millions pages, many things, articles, archive, whatever written by Dutch. Yeah, during 33 and 350 years they occupied the archipelago. So this is the one problem, Mas Akbar. I think if I say totally lose this contact with Dutch. Yeah. Until 1970s, maybe there were still the last generation of Dutch, what I call a golden generation of Indonesian people, yeah, who very fluent in Dutch, speak in Dutch, like Hatta era and after that, yeah. But now, almost Dutch almost disappear from the Indonesian young generation mouth. Yeah, different from India, I think, Mr. Bharti. Many of young people still can speak English. Yeah, so we get advantage in one thing, and in another thing we lose, Mr. Akbar. But that's why I think after almost 80 years independence, I think the new governments have to reconcept again, see again the relation with Netherlands. In one session, I think last year, I talked to some people in Jakarta that it is not. It is very good, I think, for young generation to study Dutch again. As until now, we know one of the jurusan, the department that teach Dutch only UI from 100 university in our country. This is very not good. Yeah, I imagine we can open the study about Dutch language in UGM, in University Airlangga, in Padang, yeah, in somewhere else, yeah, because we know that there are many documents written in Dutch about our past, yeah. So this is in humanities and history perspective, Mr. Albert. But in another case, during the colonial time, especially the late of colonial time, almost many things about our natural sources are already mapped by Dutch. If you go to Netherlands, go to the Hague, to the archive, to Leiden University library, you can find the map of where is the deposit of gold in entire country. How they're planning to make Banjarmasin like Amsterdam, to make Palembang, which full of water like Amsterdam. The Dutch is the best nation in the world who can manage water. If you go to this country, almost half of them under sea level actually, but you have they have a story of big river in Europe, but in Germany, in Poland, there were landslide or how to say it, banjir. But we are in Netherlands is safe, yeah. So there are many knowledge, pengetahuan that very advantage for our country actually by studying Dutch language, bahasa Belanda, and how to say it, studying how they manage water, the environment, that very beneficial advantage, give advantage for our country, I think, because the one a big problem we are facing now still about environment, yeah, about how to manage our country, which have archipelagic character, yeah. That's so there are many knowledge about our country already mapped by Dutch that I think for our new generation now is good to study again and implement it in our country. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Pak Suryadi, for answering my question. Maybe any other questions for the others or for the
I
from
would,
the audience?
I would like to respond to the Professor Suryadi,
Please.
and because he also quoted many time and mentioned about me, and if I talk about myself, like my native language is not Hindi, even it's Mathli language, and Mathli language is one of the constitutional language in India in 22, and it's also available in Google translation, the my language. So you can call it like Hindi is the my second native language, but I learned Hindi mostly after age of 10 or 12. Yes, and but I studied in Hindi medium until bachelor. So like in India, we have lots of linguistic diversity, and due to diversity, and that's why like we don't have one of the national language, but we have many official language as well, and English one of them. And in India, yeah, quite English is the like higher education language. So and also demand for, especially in an era of machine learning and the AI. So no, India is doing quite well in the IT sector. So the English is the kind of requirement for us. But here in today we were talking about the linguistic problem in the academia, like how, like in the Western, in the Europe, there are so many linguistic diversity. In France, Germany, they don't have English as their national language. But if the same professor from the Germany and the France and the other European countries, if they are sending their articles, they are not facing much of problem with the acceptance in the journal. But especially people getting discriminate when they are from the based in global south, in the name of methodology, in the name of like like English, native English. They will frequently tell you to you have to do the proofreading from the native English speaker. Yes, and even in the a good English teacher and a good English student can do the better English editing in Indonesia as well. Yes, but they will give you the condition to the native, that must be the native English speaker. So this is like how there is a discrimination in the which is mostly the Eurocentric. And we have, if we see the another like argument in here, like Eurocentrism, in like it's about like rise of global south. And after the global south perspective, in if you have also mentioned in your the speech like journal, and if there are journal, even there is a most of dominance from the authors from the Western world. But it's all about that's why in the linguistic and literary studies used to be bit conservative and racist one. And but like here we like most applied linguistic. Why applied linguistic? There is a acceptance of and the language is about like when you are listening from mother, and what you are listening, and you are doing conversation, and which is the like more natural conversation without any interruption. And if you put the condition of like you should be rigid and orthodox in that language, then your expression will be limited, and you will not very much expressive, and then you will your sense and cognitive sense, that will be the mostly care about language, if you are doing mistake or not. Yes, that's why I like applied linguistic, because applied linguistic is giving you platform to express whatever you are going to. If you will be rigid, like language will also not evolve, and that will be the more traditional, in the sense of like we need here liberalism also in the linguistic manner. So, and which is also required for the Eurocentric, and they have to accept as well. So thank you.
Yeah, very good additional comment from Dr. Bharti. Yeah, we see now, for example, in the case of implementation of Scopus, Scopus Index to the ASEAN scholars, especially in Southeast Asia. I saw this is not good. Even now, Europeans like England try to defend their domination through something that I think unfair. If you see, they, for example, especially for those who in the field of humanities and social science, also in another field. I think Dr. Bharti now the series of journal by Francis and Taylor and Francis under title Kogan Journal of blah blah blah, Kogan Journal on Humanities. This is actually how to say predatory journal.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Please don't send. But they open it. They look like a very formal and yeah, very formal. But I saw the English is very bad and yeah, this is only because the for example Indonesian author who sent their article there should pay 50 juta ya for million rupiah. This is very expensive, yeah. And they claim it is open journal, but it is part of the way they pretend they defend their domination, and this can be also found in another field, yeah. So we see now they do unfair thing to defend their domination, and we are look like follow the way, yeah. We can't reject, yeah. Because also, for example, maybe our student from Indonesia now, yeah, those who the Indonesian scholar who can publish in this kind of Kogan blah blah blah, yeah.
Journal of Social Science, Cognitive
Yeah,
Art, and
yeah,
Humanities.
yeah. This is one of the how to say the prerequisite to become professor, Mr. Bharti, in Indonesia. This is not good. Yeah, this is not good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
So
agree.
yeah. And I already informed some friend in Department of Education Jakarta to exclude this journal. Yeah. So this is the unfair way we are facing now in field of how to say it, academic, yeah. Uh, uh, we see that Europe still try to dominate. But back to Mr. Dr. Bharti comment. So I think it is time for South scholars, I think, to develop credible journal in which we also how to say promote our own scholars. Yeah, we don't need to send our article to like the series of Brill Journal or Cambridge Journal. Yeah.
Even German language journal is in Scopus quartile 1, 2. But maybe Indonesian language journal can't be in the in the Scopus list, for example.
Yes. So Scopus regime is one of the ways of the European try to defend their domination. Yeah. But I saw, like, for example, Dr. Bharti, our for example, Japanese scholar, for example, rarely send their articles to European journal. I rarely found the Japanese. Yeah, they are pride in publishing the article in their own language in Japanese. Yeah. But actually, it is maybe this is the challenge for next generation. Yeah.
Yes.
That's about the
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Isa raised the hand, I guess. So.
Yes.
Thank you for the opportunity. I would like to add my comments because Mr. Bharti you've been mentioning earlier about the discrimination of learning German language at German university. So it is also related to from my experience. The thing is, I'm studying political science, and I wasn't born in Germany at all, and you know, as a international students in Germany, we need to speak three fluent languages: Indonesian, English, and German, which is really difficult to learn German from the beginning when you already turning 18 or something. So yeah, I just remember vividly when I entered university, some professor, they were discriminating at me, and also like some German students, they thought like, hey, you're not white, you're having black hair, how can you survive this university, like German is not your native language, and you also need to speak and you need to learn about political landscape in Germany from scratch. How can you survive with that? But yeah, I think as long as we prove to them, okay, we are really hard worker person, um, we prove to them like, okay, even though we're not having the same nationality, as long as we can learn harder than them, then why not? But yeah, it's also related this kind of discrimination between non-Western country and also with Western, because they think, hey, we are white, we are superior, and we rule the world, we're gonna bring civilization to any other low development country. So yeah, it is okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, interesting, Anissa. Yeah. At the end, yeah, we are in how to say it in English. Yeah, we hold the mata pisau. Yeah, the sharp thing of the knives. Yeah, not yeah. For example, but some countries like Malaysia, I saw already implemented the show their power in this field. Yeah, so if a European student come to Malaysia, they have to study Malay first. They have to study Malay. But like Indonesia, for example, we do like that in like for example to some international students. No, I know some of them they can't speak Indonesian, but they are received in Indonesian university. How can? Yeah. So yeah. Back to Anissa comment. Yeah, we don't have power because to do that. Yeah, but I think more and more we have to our decision maker have to clear about this. Yeah, why not? We also ask them to how to speak in our language if we receive them. Yeah. So this is our problem. I think. Yeah. Maybe Dr. Bharti have comment about this. Yeah. In India, for example, do also the foreign students should speak study Hindi, for example. A couple of years ago, I was invited to JNU, Mr. Bharti, the very nice university in Delhi, and I met some European students. I saw they can speak Hindi, yeah, even not also not so fluent, but they try to understand.
Especially
Yeah.
if you go to the Hindi heartland, which is called, and like how geopolitical theory of Mackinder drive the geography about heartland, Eurasian heartland. Now it's in India they use the Hindi heartland, like Hindi speaking zone, and which is dominant in the Indian politics and central politics, and especially current government and our Prime Minister Narendra Modi is also promoting, and he always wherever he goes, and he does speak only in Hindi language. So how they're promoting the one language, like yeah, in India, like in the like especially northern region, they will make you and force you to speak Hindi, and because which is required, and also due to Bollywood, and like in India, if other part of the part, and if they will not able to speak uh, Hindi, but at least they can understand. Yes, the entire India. Yeah, but we have the academic challenges, and how all the student, if we are in the Europe, and especially if you are studying linguistic, literary studies, or international relations, it's better to choose your dissertation topic related to like a global South perspective, post-colonial perspective, or maybe Indonesian perspective in IR something. So like how we can cultivate and we can make a larger presence in in this domain, and especially in this discipline in international relations. So, and that's how it will be more diversified and decentralized in future, and it will not happen, but it will take time politically, academically, from all the perspective, and it can be resolved, but we have to keep try.
I think if we still have time, Mr. Akbar, is it related to our topic today or not? One thing we are not also promote yet is to understand academically from scholarly perspective each other. For example, in Indonesian universities, do we have the department or not, if not department, some courses to understand India? Do the India are now in Gen U, there are some course about Indonesian language, but not all. Do we have in, for example, Vietnam, have study about Indonesia? In Manila about Malaysia, for example. So I think we also have to promote. Yeah. I actually this week actually I was in Colombo, but not have to cancel. For example, in Sri Lanka, we in Indonesia and Sri Lanka had long relationship. If everybody now, Anissa generation now, they Charles Tambu. If you see Charles Tambu, if you see the picture of Shahrir when he spoke in UN, yeah, in 1947, one of them is the guys with south faces. This Charles Tambu, and Sri Lankan guys who support fully in his soul the Indonesian independence. Yeah. So we had long relationship with, but in Sri Lanka there is no study about the Malay, about Indonesia, and in Indonesia there is no study about India, about when Nehru first met Hatta in Brussels in 1927 to show to how to say to protest the European colonialism in their motherland. Yeah. So we also don't have good. Yeah. We don't know among ourselves. Yeah. So I think in the next future, yeah, we have to also open the study about our neighbor country or the same country in the south.
That is required. And in the, you mentioned about JNU, Jawaharlal Nehru University, and there is a Bhasha Indonesia, like Indonesia from very long time. And my brother also got one initial certificate course in the Bhasha Indonesia. And I know many person who is just speaking the and working and translation, and because India and the Indonesia, they have like very good relation from the long time, from the from the Bandung conference to till now. So, and still recently the Indonesian president or prime minister visited, yes. And then how they mention about the long association in the linguistic, especially Sanskrit influence in the Indonesian language. And in the name I can see the some of your name are like very familiar to Indian, like, and especially Sanskrit name. So, and like there is like lots of connection, and it's about literary studies and linguistic study to bridge these gaps. And I know one of my friend, he completed his PhD in applied linguistics in Portuguese and he did like his PhD on the BRICS language, like BRICS, the applied linguistic and promotion of language in the BRICS countries. So yeah, that's how we can bridge the gaps and the South cooperation as well. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I think there is one more question from Damar.
Yeah, thank you for the very informative discussion. I would like to sidetrack a bit from the linguistic topics. Mr. Bharti, you mentioned before about the advent of a second non-aligned movement in the forms of regional organization like BRICS or ASEAN. But from what I've heard and read in news and article, there's still a lot of infighting and internal divisions between member countries like the South China Sea or the Kashmir region. How do you propose we combat Eurocentrism when we still have this internal problem between like our countries? Thank you.
Thank you for your questions. It's like, because as we are studying international relations, in international relations, when we talk about a particular country and that country used to have foreign policy, yes, and foreign policy is about national interest and they pursue with the other partners. So, and that national interest sometime, compromise the like absolute vision and the more common vision in global south perspective. So that's why sometimes you will see like there is some kind of lack of cooperation due to, because in our region in many like again we have to see from the post-colonial lens, and if you see the root cause of the all these countries among south means global south countries, that is a colonial legacy, because how why we have the border disputes, yes, in for example India Pakistan, for example, if there is a border disputes between the like in Southeast Asian nation any countries, the most of that is a root given by the like western countries, and they how they used to involve in this crisis and the control the narratives, and they try to pursue the western interest in the name of our local conflicts. So if you would like to understand these problems, all these problems, you have to see from the post-colonial lens, and which is only lens you can understand Indonesia, India, China, and other countries, even the Hong Kong problem, Taiwan problem with the China. All these are the given by the colonial legacy. So then you can understand the world. Otherwise, if we see from the IR theory perspective, any theory perspective, we will understand only the Western point of view, because these theories are for them, for their interest to pursue. If there is a Indo-Pacific as a like imaginary concept, yes, and that is not a physical concept, that is an imaginary and political construct. I did that to defend the rise of China, yes, in the like in South China Sea and other the and if we see 1 second from the China point of view, but till now China it's been like more than like 50 years, like last time China fought with India 1962 war, and after that China has been not fight a single war yet. But still, the if you see from the my presentation today, the power narrative and power like discourse power and narrative, so it's all about the construction, western construction of the knowledge, like how China is the aggressive, how China is the coming to take your lands and all. So but yeah, still we have the our border problem. But if we have to also recognize and be have to careful to see the from the different lenses, like what is a western lens, yes. And despite of that China didn't occupy any lands and fought any war, but still China is an enemy in international relation and western enemy, yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Simant. Due to the overtime now, maybe we are coming to the end of the webinars today. So firstly, I still want to thanks to our speakers, Dr. Suryadi and also Dr. Simant, for giving us the beautiful insights and also a lot of informations. And yeah, and also I want to thank you to all of the participants who already attended today, and also the members of International Relation Division of PPI Jerman. And also I want to remind all of the audience for fulfilling the Google Forms, and it's available in the comment section to get the e-certificate for this webinar. So thanks again one more, Dr. Suryadi and Dr. Simant, for giving us the informations and also the insights. So with that, my name is Akbar Maulana Achmad, and thank you for attending our today's webinar. So see you in the future. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much, and have a nice time, everyone. And please don't please don't forget to contact if you have anything to discuss about this field, and in future if you are doing some project. So you are welcome. So thank you all. Have a nice time and good evening.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice